step out on trusting him, right? 2 days passed and it ain't happened yet. What we do? But he said, in all our ways acknowledge him, and he's going to direct our path. That's the promise that I have to stand firm on and not waver in that promise. Because I know if he said it, he will do it. The hard part is, so let's just think of those that came out of Egypt into the wilderness. 3 days into their journey, and they didn't have any water or food, and they begin to murmur and complain. Well, now, you're in the desert. So put yourself in the desert. You're in the desert and you don't have no water. What would you do? Right? But what we're going to learn today is it's not about them in the desert, just being in the desert, but who is in the desert with them. So if God is with you, then there's no need to fret, because he can make a way where there is no way. So in order to get this point of faith out, we might as well go to the father of faith as pertaining to the flesh in Abraham. When he starts out in Genesis, the 12th chapter, verse 1. So we're going to look at Genesis 12 and 1 and Hebrews 11 and 8. Both of those scriptures go together for what Abraham did, but we want to pull out some things to talk about our message today. Genesis 12, 1 says, now the Lord has said to Abram, he's Abram at this time, not Abraham quite yet. 75 years old, the Lord appeared to him. Before we know, Isaac came at 100 years old. So 25 years of building this faith in God to believe. So I'm saying that to say it ain't happened overnight. We build this by growing day by day. The Lord said to Abram, get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, and here is the key, to a land that I will show you. Y'all see that? Now, what is Abraham leaving on? He's leaving on a promise of a land that he will show him. Now look at Hebrews, the 11th chapter, verse 8. Hebrews 11 and 8 says, by faith Abraham obeyed God. He left. When he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. I'm giving you a place of inheritance. I'm telling you to go, and I'm going to show it to you when you leave. Not before you leave, when you leave. And so Abraham departed to go to that land that he would give him for inheritance, and he went out not knowing where he was going. He knew what God said, but he didn't know what God said was going to look like until he got there. And so my topic is very simple. Trust the God. Trust the God. Have y'all ever gone on a trip where you had to get a tourist guide? You ever went to somewhere where if you toured somewhere and then you had a guide that's going to take you around town? Well, if you hadn't been there, you saw it on TV or somewhere. You know, you go here. I remember we went to New York one time and we visited a church and with the pastor at the time, Pastor Smith, that we were with at the time, and it took us around New York. But I guarantee you, we wouldn't have known our way around there if we wouldn't have someone guiding us through there. And I mean, I'm talking about one of the most amazing things about that trip was we walking down the road, and I mean, it's clear. I guess the building's so high, we really couldn't see the clouds. I didn't see if it was cloudy or nothing. And I mean, you don't see no vendors on the road or nobody. Everybody just walking fast and going. Next thing you know, it start raining. And out of the blue, some people just come with umbrellas for sale. I'm like, where y'all came from that fast? With umbrellas. How you know it was going to rain even? But if we didn't have the guide guiding us, I'm telling y'all, we would have been lost out there. Probably wouldn't have went saw the town and saw the places because we didn't know where we were. You go somewhere. I mean, I see on TV there's safaris. They go hiking in the mountains and they have a guide that guides them. And what you go on a school trip, what did they tell you? Don't leave by yourself, right? Follow whoever the chaperone is. Follow the chaperone. Keep in line. Don't get lost. And you always got, probably with me, I don't know. You always got that one that won't be adventurous and go see what the... We did that on our senior trip. They told you just stay on this side. The boat, we went on a cruise. The boat gonna leave at a certain time. We want to be explorers and go try to go all around the Cozumel. Well, we almost ran out of gas and almost got left because we went off track from what the guide said was to guide you. So, what's the message today? I know this one's gonna be hard. I know it's gonna be hard. Trust. Y'all know we like the person in the passenger seat of a car. They don't like to drive, but they sure are experts on driving, right? They know when to tell you to pump the brake. They know when to tell you to speed up. Watch that car. Watch this car. Watch ooh, ah, ooh. I mess with my mother all the time. You see me when you drive it up. She always there. Sometimes I hit the brakes. Sometimes I hit the brakes on purpose just to stir her up a little bit. And I just picture something. Just imagine you riding with me on one of them fast vehicles. I don't even know why I went there. What's the point of the message today? That is the point. In trusting the God. If we're going to walk in faith, sometimes you got to walk. Sister Melissa, if I'm going to walk in faith in what God said about the healing situation, I don't know how it's going to come, when it's going to come, but I have to trust that the God says today it's going to be healing in the place. And if we're walking by faith and believing that we receive that, then I can't heal nobody, but the God that we're following has the power to heal. So he said, are you going to believe me? Yeah. And so, especially ministering a lot of times and just walking this Christian walk, this walk of faith that we walk, sometimes you're going to look foolish doing the thing that God called you to do. But when God show up, does it look foolish? So here's the message point for today. When you have a guide, I'm going to drill this one home for us, all of us. Because even if we say we don't, we do. When you have a guide, come on, say it. When you have a guide, you don't need a map. You don't need a map. When you have a guide, you don't need a map. You know why we want a map? We want a map so we can get more information on where we're going. I'll go with you to the promised land, but what the terrain of the wilderness look like? See, they saw giants in the land. They saw the fruit that was in abundance. They saw the cities walled up. They saw all of these things. God, that's why he only sent 12 of them out there. Because if he didn't send everybody, there's a lot more of them would have wanted to go back there. Because they saw what was in the land. But what was more important than what was in the land? It was the God. Because if he said, I was bringing you to the promised land, then they can rest assured that God was going to give them the promise that he said. But a lot of times we're looking for the information of how God, when God, especially if it don't show up right then and there. But the question is simple that he's asking us. Do you really trust me? I'm telling y'all, I failed miserably in this last year when he was bringing me to a place of trusting him fully in that regard. And y'all know what I still did? Right at the edge of it, I still leaned to my own understanding and figuring it out on my own. And it led me to various directions through the wilderness that brought me still back to this place right now, where he's still asking that same question: are you going to completely trust me in this situation? And so now it has brought me to a place I've been enjoying it, because really it takes your focus off of tomorrow and put your focus on today. God, give me my daily bread, my bread for today. What do you have for me today? And so now I see why Jesus got up early in the morning to pray, so he can get the instructions for the day. What city you want me to go in today? Who you want me to minister to today? What assignment do you have for me today? What do you want to fix about me today? Because a lot of times we're trying to fix our past and never fix today, and we no good for tomorrow because we're still living in the past. Can you do anything about what happened? Can you do something about what's happening? Yes. We don't have to worry about tomorrow or yesterday. He's present. Lord, you are present today to guide us. Will he guide us day by day? Yes, he will. So from what Abraham is now experiencing with God, we can now get a little look into how God operates. He doesn't operate by, I'm going to show you so you can move. He operates by saying, move so I can show you. Isn't that counter to how we usually, I mean, come on, I know whatever state it is, I can't even, I'm having a mental block. But the show me state, what's the show me state? Missouri. It's the show me state, right? Then we like Missouri. If you show me, then I'm going to do it. But is that walking by sight or walking by faith? That's walking by sight. I have to have the information. I have to have some details. I want to know. But see, even when you put it in your GPS, you got it in your GPS and it tells you arrival time is 6 o'clock today. You're going on a little trip. And arrival time is 6 o'clock today. You get 2 hours in the trip, and 6 o'clock went to 6:45. Then you get about 3 more hours, and 6:45 went to 7:15. And you wondering now why the time keep changing? Because it didn't calculate for the accident that's ahead that's causing about 20 more minutes of time. And so when God detours us, we got to hold up, God, that's not on the map. That's not on the directions that you gave. You sending me on a detour, but I don't know what's that way. How is it going to turn out? What's going to happen to us? Are we going to be safe? Are we going to be secure? All of these questions we asking God, and you know what God responds is? Just go. Oh, that's not. I can just feel the tension. You know, we don't. Start moving, then I will show you. Abraham left his country, his father's house, his kindred, his family, and guess what? He left without a map, but he didn't leave without a guide. He left without a map, but he didn't leave without a guide. What will work better for you? Somebody that know where they're going, or a map in your hand for you to try to figure out where you're going? I ain't gonna talk about my uncle if he have his map. He want to. I don't know. We don't even want to ask people for directions sometimes. I got it. No, you don't. You don't know where you're at. And we do the same thing to God. God is trying to say, you sure? I got it, God. No, we don't. He's trying to tell us that that way seems like the right way, but the end of that way is going to bring you to a dead end or to destruction. There's a way that seems right to a man, but the end of that way is destruction. So this is what God would do for us. He would bring us to Psalms 119 and 105. He says, I'm going to be a lamp to your feet, my word is, let's get it right, and a light unto your path. My word is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. What's light in the path? The lamp. And the lamp is the light for your feet and is the light for your path. And you know what we do? God, can you give me a spotlight instead? We don't want a lamp, because a lamp is only going to allow you to see the next step. We did not be like, God, you know it's dark out here. You can at least put it on high beam. When you put the car on high beam, you can see a little further, right? And what you trust more the high beam than you would the low beam when it's dark and you can't see, right? But God, see, what he's trying to do is he's going to give you enough revelation to be obedient. But he's not going to give you too much information for you to be independent. He's going to give you the revelation to go, to do, to this. It's going to work out to you. You will be healed. You're going to be made whole. This going to happen, that's going to happen. He's going to reveal to you the promise that he promised. But he's going to give you just enough information so you still stay dependent on him. Because if he gives us too much information, you don't need God no more after that. And see, this even in the scripture, what God is referring to when he's talking about money. If someone has an abundance of wealth, they're in trouble of maybe thinking that they got it on their own and they don't need God, because they can supply everything for themselves. So what you need God for if you got everything you have? By the time you get to a place to where you have a health concern and money can't fix that, now you need God. So he just gives us a mind to be aware and to be careful. The whole plan and purpose is, it doesn't matter if you have abundance or if you have nothing. You still need the guide. Because the person with a lot still needs a guide to guide them with a lot. And the person with a little still needs a guide to get them to more. Yes. So he's making us to be aware. Don't lose sight of who the guide of our lives are. So I got to trust him that if God is providing the lamp and his word is the lamp, I don't need the spotlight, because I'm trusting the light that I have, that God is going to give me what I need for the next step. And I'm going to trust him for it. I don't know what tomorrow is going to be, but I have enough light for today. You see, what we trying to see with the spotlight, we trying to see into tomorrow. If I know tomorrow going to be taken care of, I'll rest today. But the scripture says you can still rest today, because tomorrow is going to take care of itself. See, tomorrow is working on when its time comes. It ain't asking you to work on tomorrow fully, because tomorrow is already working. God is already working on tomorrow. He wants your presence today. And if we learn this area of faith and trust in him as the God, then it's, I've been studying some things in regards to work and providing. And God said this. He says to the person that's working, he gives them rest. And what you see in the world is the opposite. We can't sleep because we got to work. And then you notice something. We can't even get a chicken sandwich today or nuggets because the place is closed. Are they still thriving? You know what? I'm taking everybody to Chick-fil-A today. It's on me. We ain't going to get in though. Why? But are they losing any market share or any ground? See, when we are our God, we think if we get sleep, we're gonna lose ground. But if God is our God, God told them to store up for 6 days, and on the 7 days, don't touch it, because the 7th day is the Sabbath day, left alone for God. You get enough in the 6th day for the 7th day. But you know how we think, well, God, if I got enough for the 6th day, if I work the 7th day, I can get some extra. I don't know why I keep saying extra. That's somebody I know say extra. Extra. You know why God, he don't want extra in that regard? Because extra, you got enough for yourself. You don't have to see. They got manna every day, so they had to trust God for what they were going to have today. Because see, he's trying to bless you with abundance, but before he can bless you with abundance, you got to learn how to trust him for the today. Amen. Because if you don't trust him for today, if he gave you abundance, he'll never see you again. And that's usually what happens when folks, oh, Lord, please help me, Lord. I just need you, I need you. And he show up for you, and it's like, God's looking like, where you at? Then God done dialed the phone, and this all God here. This number has been temporarily disconnected. This number is no longer in service. Yeah. Now, you was in church when you needed him talking about Jesus on the main line. Tell him what you want. Now that you got what you want, you done cut off the main line. He trying to talk to you still. I'm still trying to have a relationship with you. I'm still trying to be your God. You know why I'm trying to be your God? Because you got the abundance, but I'm trying to help you keep the abundance. He trying to get you to say, I can't say that because that's our favorite store. I'm sorry, but that's my favorite store first. He trying to get you to keep your pennies, but you keep showing up at JC's. Pennies. That was my favorite store at one time. We have to walk by faith and not by sight. When we hear that scripture passage, it makes you think that you're walking aimlessly in the dark. But I'm walking by what I see in the spiritual. And what I see in the spiritual is what's keeping me grounded in the natural. I'm not walking aimlessly. I'm walking by the word. That's my lamp. God, what do you have me for today? If I'm focused myself on what's today, it's keeping me in bounds to what God is saying. I love this because those that were before, they had to inquire to God before they did anything. God, I need to make this decision. I'm seeking your wisdom for the decision. Are you in the decision? God will give us an answer, and the answer is what we don't like, so we go back to God for our answer. Right? You go to God, and God says, I'm going to do this. That can't be right. Let me go back in prayer. And we trying to pray for a different answer. Say, God, I trust you for what you want to do. And then he tells us what we're going to do. I've done this several times. Sometimes it can't be that easy. Y'all remember I've said it a couple of times with God. I got on my knees to get an answer from God, and he gave me the answer within a minute. I had to stay down there for 59 more minutes because it just didn't feel right to get an answer that fast, right? Now there's times where I've been down there for 3 hours and didn't get no answer. But what he's developing and what he's building on the inside of us is, are you going to trust me? He brought them into the wilderness not to punish them. He brought them there to see what is in their heart, whether they would obey or not. Because he knows that if they didn't obey, they would go into another land, and then they would take on the culture of that land. And so why are we trying to train up a child? Why are you trying to pour the word of God? Why the scripture says tie it around your neck and all of this stuff? And we so crazy we go get a chain with the 10 commandments on it and think that's what God said. No, he's trying to say it needs to be in your heart. Well, he said tie it around your neck. No. Just because Jesus hanging on the cross on your shoulders, is he in your heart? Abraham left without a map, but he didn't leave without a guide. Leave here before I show you there. Leave here before I show you there. But look at what Hebrews 10 and 38 says. And this is where we get stuck. But he said, but don't draw back. Now the just shall live by faith, but if anyone draws back, my soul has no pleasure in him. Meaning, from the standpoint of Hebrews 11 and 6 says, faith, without faith it's impossible to please God. So faith is what pleases him. Being obedient to his word is what pleases him. And he says, if you're not obedient to my word, you can't please me. And then therefore you are drawing back, meaning you're going back to your own understanding and away from what God is saying. So to draw, as looking at it from the children of Israel standpoint in Joshua and Caleb, they spied out the land. They're now ready to go into the wilderness, and the 10 gave an evil report. But look what they're saying in drawing back. Continuing seems more dangerous than retreating. But those that were pressing forward were saying, continuing seems more rewarding than retreating. They both saw the same thing, right? They both saw giants in the land. They both saw the walls fortified. They both saw the cities and how they were. Why two conclusions? Two different conclusions. Because one saw the situation of them doing it themselves, because they said we were grasshoppers in our own sight, right? That nobody told them. God didn't tell them they were grasshoppers. They say in our own sight, we are grasshoppers. And so because in our own sight we're grasshoppers, we must be grasshoppers to them. So now they're leading to their own understanding of how they saw themselves. But Joshua and Caleb didn't see themselves. They saw God with us. And if God is going to guide us through this, then we can go and overtake the land. So that is a different component to an understanding. If God is in it with you, then I can't fail and I can't lose. No weapon can form against me. The weapon can form against me, but that weapon can't prosper if God is with me. So if I know God is with me, am I worried about the weapon forming? Nope. Because I know that weapon can form, but it can't prosper. That's where I get my sleep from. I get my sleep from knowing you can come at me, but you can't destroy me unless God allows it. And if God says he's for me, then what can be against me? So if whatever's coming against me can't harm me, I can sleep on it knowing that God got me protected. I can rest in his peace. I can rest in his love. I can rest in his comfort because he has me today. So I'm not going to draw back. I'm not going to retreat because, you know, a lot of times what we're looking for safety and security. And what you say, if we go forward, then that could be danger. But if we go back, at least, look, it's going to be bondage, but at least we know we're going to be all right. Y'all see what they're saying, that we were, even though I know we can't talk bad about them because we do it too. And that's what your parents was trying to tell you. That's what your grandparents was trying to tell you. That's what your grandparents. Don't hurt yourself. I don't want you to hurt yourself. But me being trying to use it. I ain't trying to use the big word. I must have read it in the book somewhere. But we just trying to be inquisitive. Okay, so what the word mean? We can just we want to just go an extra little step and ask the question, are we really safe? Or are we really hurting ourselves by staying? You're telling me if we go, we can hurt ourselves. I'm asking, if we stay, can we hurt ourselves? What you're really saying is, going, we may get cut, because I got a cut before. And I'm basing new territory off of old wounds. And if I got cut, maybe you could get cut. But are we the same person? No. So I'm gonna put it in somewhat of a perspective that's a little controversial, I guess. So look, go the safe route. Go to school, get you a good job, and you're gonna be taken care of. Safe route. Now, for some of us who have went that route, was it safe? It was not safe because you went to school and you got out of school with the degree to get a job, and they told you you need 2 years of experience. And there are a lot of people that went to school with degrees that are working jobs that have nothing to do with their degree. Yeah. But I understand the premise of the argument is seek safety. So now let's look at a real situation here, because this was interesting as far as looking at safety. We're going to look at a story of Peter and the disciples in a boat in a storm. And my question is, what is the safest place to be? I know this don't feel like a sermon, but this is going to be good. Y'all just hold up. What is the safest place to be? Okay, Peter and the disciples are in a boat, and Jesus tells them to go to the other side while he dismissed the people. And as he's dismissing the people, Jesus walks to them on water, and they thought they saw a ghost. But Jesus said, "Be of good cheer, it is I." Peter said, "If it's you, Lord, bid me to come to you." Now, they are in a boat, and there is a storm that's boisterous because Peter looked at the waves in the water when he sunk, right? So the waves, it says, were boisterous. So now let's just think about something. What's the safest place? Now, if you're in a storm in a boat, it's safer than, I guess, in the water if you're drowning, but are you still safe? No. Because the boat could break to pieces, the boat could capsize. Ask all the people on the Titanic if they were safe. This is a big boat. I mean, this boat would never sink. This boat was made out of the best stuff. This boat was sinking. Trusting in man, all of these rich folk gone down. What was the safe? They were safe on the boat. I mean, you safe. I guess that's why I can't get my wife to go on a cruise, because are you really safe? It's safe, right? So now let's go back to the story. What is the safest place to be in that situation? I'll give you the answer and then I'll explain. The safest place to be, the place where obedience to Christ places you. The safest place to be is where obedience to Christ places you. So the safest place for Peter to be was walking on the water, because Jesus said, "Come." So who were the most safest in the situation? Peter or the disciples? When Peter took his eyes off Jesus, he found himself in the same place as disciples. The disciples wasn't, I don't know them because they don't give them nothing in the story, but it wasn't good if they were still in fear. Because Jesus said to go to the other side. If they were believing what he said, then they are in the safe place. He didn't ask about the storm. He didn't ask about anything going on. He just saying, "Do you trust me? And if you trust me, you're in the safest place." And the safest place can look like the most dangerous place. But if God is in that place, you're in the safest place.
Right.
To us, the safest place is what's familiar. To faith, the safest place is to wherever God is. And this is where the children of Israel get, and this is the point that we can get in understanding God when God is somewhere. If somebody asks you if God is saying to go or if God is saying to stay, which one? Whichever one he's telling you to be at is the safest place. If the cloud moved, they had to move with the cloud. Where was the safest place? When the cloud was moving. When the cloud stayed, they was to stay. So where was the safest place? If they would have went out without God, they were outside of his safety. So the safest place at that moment was staying. And sometimes he stayed for 3 days before the cloud moved again. And now people get their hands and say, oh, we're ready, time to go, it's time to go. All you had to ask was, is the cloud moved yet? If the cloud ain't moved, then no. I mean, you got to do this with kids sometimes. Are we there yet? Is the car still moving? If the car is still moving, we are not there yet. I know I probably got aunties, parents, all of them agitated me because I'm asking every 2 seconds, we there yet? I wasn't asking if we were there yet because I wanted to be there fast. I was asking because I'm trying to get out of this car. I can't move around up in here. I'm close to people phobic. That's what claustrophobic is. I'm close to people phobic. We out of time. We can stop right there anyway. Because the lesson is, the safest place to be is where God is. If he says don't move yet, you're in the safe place. If he says move, you're in the safe place. The whole key is trusting the God. And when we trust the God, then we know that he's going to bring us to the right place. But what we trying to do? We trying to calculate God. We trying to calculate the move. I mean, I'm trying to take all these variables. If I do this, then this is going to happen. If I do that, then that. Then we trying to predict God moving when we can't always predict the way he moves. So we got to do some God math. Well, we got to let God do the math. I know we do that with offerings sometimes, or with monies. See, we can't follow the giving path because it don't make sense all the time to what it looks like, right? What if God tell us to give half of what you have? I'm like, okay, God, I don't know about all of that. Why? Because now I gotta trust. Is this him saying this? So we got scripture on this. There's a woman with the last meal. And he said, give the meal to the prophet. I mean, I'm hungry. Not the prophet. Not realizing what God is trying to do in this situation. I got to pay my creditors. So we had our last. Go get some pots, some empty pots. What am I going to do with empty pots when I need? Because the oil is going to keep pouring. So then God multiply. But how God math works sometimes is, first he has to subtract some things from our lives. Then he has to divide some people from our lives, or divide some things from our lives. And then after that, he'll add some things to our lives before he'll multiply our situation. But you got to trust God's math in the situation, because he could do more with what you don't have than he can do with what you do have. It's just a matter of where our heart is if we're going to trust in him. So if I'm trusting the God to guide my life and lead my life, then the place that he's bringing me to, I'm trusting, because I know he's able to provide. And so therefore, what's important is knowing him is more important than knowing how or knowing when. If I know him, that's more important than knowing how or knowing when. When you have a God, you don't need a man. I'm trusting in the Lord. I'm trying to get to the place to where trusting in the Lord is genuinely trusting in the Lord. That I trust him when I don't know how it's going to work out. That's a scary place to be until you're in a place of relationship with him. If you have a relationship with somebody and they tell you to trust them because you've seen their track record, you're not as worried, right? You know, they got it. It's going to be taken care of. It's done. God, that's a big list. God wants us to do God wants us to do the same thing and trust in him. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Do we trust him? We want to grow in trusting him. We trust our God in some areas. In some areas, I have to grow in that trust. Because as we hear, some of us on a fixed income, you got to trust him more than you had to trust him before, because the price of things going up, and you say, God, I mean, come on, what we going? And then now what you have to do, you have to trust him in that area. But I'm talking about getting to the place where trust is not forced, but it's because of the relationship that I trust him. Even if, I ain't saying God saying this, but just use it for example, even if you say, give all what you have and follow me. It better be God for sure, but God have in the past put on some hefty giving times that we gave, and God showed up in those times. There's times now when you pass by people on the side of the road begging, I pass right on by them. And then there's time when God say, give, and you give. But what are we doing? I'm trusting him. God, your presence is here today. Our Father, which art in heaven. I'm leaning not to my own understanding, but I'm starting the day off with my mind set on heaven above. Yours is the kingdom, God. Your kingdom come, Lord. Your will be done today. He said this is the daily prayer. Y'all saw it on the daily prayer. Today, Lord, let your kingdom rest on this day. And he said, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive. When? Today. Lord, forgive me and help me forgive those that I need to forgive. Because today is sufficient for the blood is still. That's why the blood still works every day. New mercies every day. Why? Because of what Jesus did 2,000 years ago. I can have today available to me new mercies.